Hello, YouTube. Welcome in, welcome in. We are hanging out today with the pointy hat, and we are going to look at apparently the biggest mystery you've never heard of. And I think I know exactly what it is. Why is it in D&D, kobolds are Durgans, but in every other piece of media, they're either rats or dogs? This is something I've been questioning for a very long time myself. I kind of like the idea of having dog type characters for kobolds myself, because we don't have dogs. We don't have a dog race in D&D, and it's kind of annoying. But we have like 3 different lizard type races. So like, come on, can we have one of them turn to a dog? The kobold, perfect for it. Me. Anyway, let's see what happens.
So, why do kobolds look like completely different monsters, even in media literally based in D&D? Why are
Okay, those were gremlins. No, they were not kobolds.
kobolds sometimes lizard dragons and sometimes this?
Cut it out!
Yeah, I've been wondering this for a very long time myself. Thank you for actually putting in the effort. I want to learn why.
Why do kobolds, of all things, end up having some of the most fascinating history in all of Dungeons & Dragons, both in and out of the table? Today, we're going on an adventure to solve an anthropological mystery. We're going to look at kobold lore, their folklore inspiration, their insane evolution through the years and through different cultures, and we're answering every single question nobody cared enough about kobolds to ask, and we're gonna come up with a brand new kobold worthy of carrying a whole campaign plot on its back. All of that
Yay! That sounds fun.
and more in this brand new episode of D&D with a Twist, Pet Lizard Edition. Or is it Pet Dog? Part 1.
Poppy. Part 1. The Bird and the Bee Trap. The Bird and the Bee Trap. Kobold memories of the Revelation Chronicle Origins. Wait, what?
The Birds and the Bee Trap. Kobold Memories of the Revelations. Chronicle Origins. Okay, so what are these suckers and where do they come from? Well, kobolds are little humanoid dragons that live in your walls. Or are they? Put a massive pin on that. The dragon part, not the live in your walls part. That one is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, the dragon part. Please, explain.
We'll get to it. So, where do kobolds come from? Well, get ready because we're starting bright and early with some bullshit. Kobolds have like truly 5,000 origin stories. The most consistent one is that they are dragon spawn, as in created by Tiamat. Tiamat? Scholars remain divided, and by
Tiamat.
scholars I mean people in my comments that's
Commenters speed typing an essay on the correct pronunciation of every fantasy word I say. Oh my god! Pitten. Fight me.
This is weird and also feels setting dependent, but this particular conception of kobold lore makes them like the alternative to Dragonborn. Like if you ascribe to that particular origin story, Dragonborn were created by Bahamut and kobolds by Tiamat. If you know Dragonborn lore though, you might already be seeing a problem with this. Dragonborn.
Well, specifically, why would Tiamat create, a viable race, but they are literally like so cowardly and pathetic that they're kind of useless? Like, the only reason she would make them would be for, slave purposes, obviously, or intern purposes. But, like, why would she bother? Because they're weak and they're kind of useless otherwise.
Also have 5,000 versions of their origin myth. So if kobolds are the counter to Dragonborn, that means that kobolds also end with 1,000 versions of where they come from. They embraced this back in 3.5 with books covering kobolds outright saying that nobody knows exactly what connection there is between kobolds and dragons, but explicitly stating that there is a connection. Fun fact, kobolds are more connected to dragons than Dragonborn are.
Yes, Dragonborn actually in original lore were a transformation that Bahamut would bestow upon his best followers, and turning them from humans into dragonkin. And then later, they ended up being like a whole other like alien race or something like that.
You'll see that I end up comparing kobolds to a lot of other D&D species, and that is because they feel like an alternative to many of them. And the first one is the Gith. Yes, somehow not the goblins. While kobold origins are extremely vague and contradictory, their pantheon somehow isn't, or at least it isn't as much as it could be. While they're certainly associated with Tiamat, an evil dragon lady, not her video, she definitely deserves a whole one to herself, kobolds are more associated to, God, D&D names again, Kurtulmak. Sure, whatever.
Karkelmak.
Pronunciation is a social construct. Okay, so back when I did my goblin video, Turkish people pointed out that the goblin god Maklubiet is just the Turkish word for defeat. Turns out, Kurtulmak is also a Turkish word. It's Turkish for to escape or to be saved. It's also Uyghur for salvation. Okay, for real now, what's up with this? Why are goblins and kobolds Turkish? Are there more secret Turkish species in D&D I'm not aware of? What does Arakokra mean? Hold on a second.
I don't see how that's any of your business.
Scholars remain divided again. Scream at me in the comments about it. Anyway, we'll somehow come back to goblins. Not for now. For now, who is Mr. to escape in Turkish? Well, Kurtulmak is the god of kobolds. But according to one origin myth, yes, the god himself gets several too. He was once a kobold until the god of gods decided he could hang with the other gods. Other versions have him.
So the god of gods, all the gods went to a bar or something like that. They just got done doing some godly adventure sort of thing, and the DM god was like, okay, you see at the bar there's this epic god-like being. He's got like this crazy book of magic and all these swirling souls wrapping around him, a billowing torn up cloak, and his face looks like it's been pulled back into a disgusting undead visage, like he's been pickled, and he's missing an eye and a hand, and blah blah blah. And also there's this other and the gods were like, oh, that's cool. Anyone else sitting at the bar? There's this little green lizard looking thing. Oh, what's his name? Karkelmak or something? I guess, yeah, sure, Karkelmak. I want to talk to Kurtulmak. We're adopting Kurtulmak.
Just be a god. As I said, 7 different versions for no good goddamn reason, even for the god moving on. Kurtulmak is the leader of the kobold pantheon because literally just everything has a pantheon in D&D, and Kurtulmak is just a kobold prime. He loves to build traps, he loves to live in the walls, he loves being a doormat to dragons, and he hates gnomes. According to origin myth number 59.5, long ago in the land of who cares, kobold lived in harmony and bliss while somehow also being forever interns to dragons. It's all very Harry Potter. They love to mine. They like it. And it was in one of these totally consensual and not at all forced mining sessions that they found gnomes. Gnomes are sort of racial magical girls in D&D. They have these soul gems that sit underground and house the spirits of not yet born gnomes. And when one gnome happens, not gonna talk about gnome reproduction, I refuse, one of these souls...
Please don't. Although that's it is interesting. I never thought of that. Like gnomes actually coming from stones that are in the ground. That's kind of cool.
Escapes the magical girl soul gem to be housed in the newly baked gnome. The kobolds found the gnome's soul gems, sent finders keepers, and made the gnomes their interns. Wonder where they got that idea. Anyway, this arrangement lasted until Love Handles Pimplebottom, or whatever it is that the gnome god is called, said stop it, and like threw a mountain on top of Kurtulmak and...
You there, I say, please stop it. Now. Okay, I shall throw a mountain upon thee. Huh?
Kill damn near every kobold. The end. Not the end to kobolds though. Kobolds are like roaches. So instead of dying, they just developed an unending and forever burning grudge.
We adapted. We became immune to mountain.
Against gnomes for having the audacity of not liking being interns when kobolds love to do that. This all makes sense. We get the famous kobold versus gnomes beef for that, Short King beef. But from damn near every single origin myth, we also get that kobolds are the interns of dragons. And that as opposed to Dragonborn, who were also said to at one point be this, according to one version of it, kobolds loved being interns and still love it. To this day, many a kobold joyfully serves the dragon. Once again, very Harry Potter. They like being interns, so it's okay. Sure. So to recap, even through...
They find it like, what is it? A great honor to care for dragons, to like work below a great and powerful dragon. It's like the greatest honor they could possibly have, or something.
1300 versions of origin stories. Kobolds always love being interns, they hate gnomes, and they love traps and mining and being a nuisance. We got it. What about in the game proper though? Part 2. What even is a kobold? The thing about kobolds is that they feel superficially very similar to a lot of other D&D species, and the biggest one is, as previously mentioned, goblins. Sure, just like the GIF, they have internships.
It's one of those situations where it's like, if you're going to be running a campaign, you're not really going to have a chance to have kobolds, and you're not going to have a chance to have goblins at the same time, right? It's kind of annoying in that regard, because like, by the time you're done dealing with goblins, your party is going to be kind of done with dealing with the small fry type creatures. So they're not even going to want to put kobolds in. You're not even going to want to put kobolds in the game. You're going to want to go upgrade to like orcs or lizard folk or gnolls or something like that. And there's actually quite a few creatures that kind of fit in this. The unfortunate part, the unfortunate part is that you have goblins and they fit the exact same trope as the kobold. Then you're like, okay, well, I'll just take these kobolds and put them into a dragon cave. Well, by the time your players are going to go after an ancient dragon, they're literally going to just raffle stomp every single kobold they come across, and the traps don't even friggin' matter at that point. So what's even the point?
As their origin story and their current story, to be honest, they definitely have a lot of parallels with Dragonborn, chief amongst them the furry potential, but the biggest comparison to me is and will always be goblins. There's a D&D archetype, I call it the playable raccoon. Big into using the word chaotic for everything, big into getting their party in trouble. It's the sort of player archetype that I lovingly refer to as a poker. No, not the gambling thing. This is a player that likes to poke. A lot of this player's internal dialogue is, what happens if I do this?
Oh, look, it's me. It's literally me.
And no matter how many times the answer to that question is bad things, they'll continue to poke. Now,
because it's fun. It's fun to cause chaos.
Before this gets away from me, as long as the table is down to clown in this particular brand of circus, this is a 100% valid way of playing D&D. It's early.
Yes, and of course, me as a player, I do also realize not every table wants that, and I will be good about that. Don't worry. But that is my favorite type of character to try to play, is actually play a character that, wants to just be a goofball.
Isn't for everyone, but it is for some, and those some love goblins and kobolds. When I first started playing, kobolds honestly felt extremely redundant to me. Other than specific lore, at the time it really did feel like they were just the furry version of goblins. Yes, I understand that kobolds are scalies. Oh, are they? We already put a pin on that, so we can't put a second one. Why not? Let's be bad. Anyway, sure, they are very similar, but looking deeper into both of them reveals that there really is some nuance here. They are for
Oh yeah, there is nuance. Definitely. But that's the problem with nuance. It's only really noticed when you're looking deeper into it. For the majority of people, there's really not much difference between them. Period. Except I think goblins tend to be stronger and there's more variety of goblin.
For sure both under the playable raccoon umbrella that I just mentioned, but once you get into both of them, you start to see the differences. For one, kobolds are weirdly enough very industrious. First off, they have the mining association, and mining is a pretty damn advanced skill, but it's not only mining. Kobolds are ingenious in that their little lizard brains are very into engineering and tinkering. Yes, in D&D, kobolds and not goblins are the tinkerers, which I'm sure gives a pretty strong headache to the World of Warcraft people in the audience. Like, there are reports of kobolds building traps, sure, but there are also reports of kobolds building machinery, like complex machinery that they use in warfare. How complex? Well, you've heard the D&D meme of 3 kobolds in a trench coat. How about 100+ kobolds in a kobold version?
This is in I think it's Heliana's what's it called? I can't remember the entire book, but it is a book that was made by Jess Jackdaw. This is a legitimate campaign where you fight the Mecha Tarrasque. Or the Mecha, like a Mecha Dragon or something like that. It is crazy. And there's like layer actions where there's kobolds shooting out of the walls, blowing up and shooting fireworks all over the place. It is insane. I've actually been I really want to play this this module, but I can never get around to it. It's just so crazy.
Of Mecha Godzilla, that is a thing. There's art of it. Where is it a thing? Well, to those of you that know ball, you know exactly where a thing like this could exist. Ryoko and Heliana's Guide to Mythozoology, whose Kickstarter is ending after breaking the entire platform.
Wait. They teamed up? Holy shit. Oh, that's
upon
cool.
launch. That's right, they're back on the channel, and for good reason. Their Kickstarter, which at the time of writing is about to pass 3 million, is ending. And all
Hell
the goodies
yeah.
you get for backing it during the Kickstarter window end with it. Helliana and Ryoko's is quite possibly the largest project I've seen hit Kickstarter. The amount of stuff in it is frankly insane. 100 plus monsters, basically its own monster manual, with like Chinese zodiac dragons included in it, a whole new maker class that you can play, mech combat mechanics. See, I didn't lie about Mega Kobold being a thing you can put in your game if you're not a coward. What do you use that for? Kaiju summoning mechanics. Yep, just summon a skyscraper to fight for you. I don't know what it is about it, but just big monster is so exciting to me. Speaking of monster hunting adventures are also a thing in mythozoology. You can actually play the content in the book and not just look at it. And the most impressive thing to me, more than 26 subclasses, more than 16 species, and just so many player options. A frankly terrifying amount. But what was that about the goodies I talked about? Well, dice, among many others, but just look at the dice. Monster
I kind of want it, but I know I shouldn't get it because it's a frivolous spend that I won't make use of. I'm sad.
15 dice for 100% certified, not pointy hat free dice to anyone that backs at any physical tier, or if you get both books. They told me this
Big
is to
dice.
celebrate how massively big with a capital XXL this thing has gotten on Kickstarter, so once it's over, the free goodies will not be free anymore. So if you want to find out why exactly this thing broke the platform and get your hands on some free dice, Helliana and Ryoko's Guide to Mythos.
Ryoko and Helliana separately were some of the better D&D like module books, like third-party module books that to have come out. Like they legitimately were some of the better ones. So with them teaming up and, you know, doing all this crazy shit, like obviously it's going to be good. It's going to be a good
is
one.
in the first link in the description. Okay, so they are tinkering enough to build Mecha Kobold, but are kobolds organized enough to operate Mecha Kobold? Both goblins
Yes?
and kobolds live in tribal societies. but
Question
this is
mark?
Also the case for like 90% of creatures designated by the game as like level 1 to 5 lawnmower fodder. So not that strong of a connection. The difference here is that while goblins have a very stratified cutthroat society, kobolds get very communisty with it. They are extremely communal, with like a very underground cold cause vibe to everything they do. Whereas goblins feel much more individualistic, kobolds are extremely self-sacrificing, very the needs of the many focused. Success of the tribe is personal success to a kobold, which is not the case for goblins. I also regret to inform you that much has been written on how cool kobolds are about living in close quarters, multiplying, how much they don't care about nudity, and exactly what amounts of unclothed wrestling they
Oh no.
get up to. I had to read a lot of that for this video,
Oh.
unfortunately. 3.5e, why don't you have a seat? Like in this book, in the roleplay tips to play a kobold, they're like, why don't you show how cool you are with no privacy and clothing optional? 3.5e dare to ask the all-important question, who here freaky? All in all, kobolds feel like a more organized, more
And that explains why when you look up kobolds online nowadays, you get some really interesting locations on the internet.
communal version of goblins. They're both ambush predators, they're both tricksy, they're both playable raccoons, but there's a difference if you care enough to look for it. What about playability though? Well, kobolds in 5e have never gotten more than one subspecies, lineage, ancestry, whatever, but they did in the past. There's a whole different species very close to kobolds called the Urds. Is this a Turkish word again? Urds kinda made an appearance in Tyranny of the Dragons for 5e, but have been mostly forgotten by the sense of time. They're winged kobolds, and despite being name dropped and stat blocked in
Oh my
the
God.
Dragon book, they did
Wait. These ones on the front, those are troglodytes. Those aren't kobolds. The hell? Oh, lizardmen, troglodyte, Erd is in the top left, and kobold is in the bottom left. Oh, okay.
not get a playable version. There's also Dragon Rod Kobold, who are also winged kobold, but whereas kobolds don't like Urds, they love Dragon Rod Kobolds a whole lot. Not gonna get into why, this is also basically forgotten by the sense of time. Basically, these guys have a stronger draconic streak to them, with like actually relevant scale collars and yes, wings. Kobolds would like travel up to the surface to raise them so they could fly, which I think is very sweet. It's like those videos of like lifting a pig so it can see the sky. The freaky 3.5e text that I just mentioned is
You're just scaring the shit out of that poor thing. It does not give a shit. It does not care. It's just scared.
literally about this. And guess what is not in 5e? That's right, Dragonrod Kobolds. 5e, however, has given us 2 versions of the vanilla Kobold. The Vola version, its first iteration, gave them pack tactics, which insane, flat advantage.
Oh yeah, pack tactics is a scary ability.
Whenever you're next to anybody is absolutely wild and way too strong for a species ability. Don't do that. They tried to balance it by giving them sunlight sensitivity, but quickly gave up on that. The most recent version is by none other than the Mom Book. Kobolds don't get
because players are scared of sunlight sensitivity. They're like, oh, but there's sun everywhere. How are we going to be able to do anything through sunlight? I was like, well, deal with it. Deal with it. Figure it out. Cast darkness. Do some fun. Do some interesting things. Get your DM to give you a hat to give you like a way to not have as much disadvantage. You know, deal with penalties. Getting an umbrella nerd. Exactly.
pack
Oh my
tactics
goodness.
and that, thank God. But they have a sort of battle cry advantage giving thing for you and your
Controversial. I honestly hated what they did with the kobolds in the new one because they gave them a tail whip, they gave them a scream, and all that. I don't think they handled kobolds very well in 5e, just in general.
bodies, which is extremely strong, but also limited to a number of uses, so it's better. Still wild and very powerful, but you know, not pack tactics. Reading this as someone that has never played a kobold and doesn't intend to, kobolds are really strong in 5e. Extra skill proficiency, advantage on avoiding being clothed and afraid, and even a sorcerer cantrip for free, not to mention the advantage giving cry, and dark vision, of course, because everything needs dark vision.
Yeah.
As much as kobold text is about
I mean, they make sense to have dark vision because they are mining. They are a full-on mining race. Like they live in the darkness almost all the time.
trapping,
Which also explains why they should have had sunlight sensitivity. But no, we had to take that away because it's too
traps and them
scary.
being ingenious. It's surprising that they never got a single ability related to that. I guess they didn't want them to be gnomes. Whatever, that's quite enough on who these lizards are and where they come from in D&D. As I said, the goal with this video is to give these guys even more star power to command a whole campaign by themselves. And in order for me to twist these guys beyond recognition into something completely different and yet related to what we just talked about, we not only need to understand their D&D history, nay, we need to understand mythology. Part 3. Why Kobold? Kobold feels like an extremely weird choice for a name. Normally when D&D chooses an existing thing to name whatever fantasy thing they're bringing into existence to torture me into doing too much research about, whatever they're naming has something to do with the name. Spoiler alert, kobolds have just nothing.
Beholder. It's the eye of the beholder. Kobold, though, is not what a kobold is in actual mythology. It's probably named it because of like kobold ore, which is kind of poisonous and all that, but like even that has literally nothing to do with anything that a kobold is.
Thing to do with real life kobolds. So that might be a thing we would like to fix. Kobolds are part of Germanic folklore, and they are the sort of folkloric figure that is so old that it has turned into like nerd kryptonite. In my experience, nerds want mythology and folklore to behave like it's Pokemon, like this thing is this type and it uses these powers and they come from this place. Super neat.
Here's the fun thing about like folklore and fae and things from the past, right? There is no set rule to them. They are pure chaos. They are their own thing. They are legitimately just a creature to fit a narrative of a story, right? They're not supposed to have like these specific traits. They're not supposed to be, you know, something you can just crumple into a specific corner and be like, you are this now. This is what you are, and this is how you exist. And that doesn't work for a lot of people because a lot of people need to understand everything. Because if you don't understand it, how do you play a game with it? It's, yeah. So they have to put them into a box.
Super organized and super unrealistic as to what folklore actually is. Yes, this is the case for some figures on mythology and folklore. Nessie is obviously a water dragon type, while the Jinn are clearly fire types. Duh, everyone knows that. But most of the time, this is just not the case for most of these figures. Kobolds are one of the thousands of things called household spirits. Are these fae? Maybe. Sometimes they feel like it. This is how old they are and how many things are called kobold, even in its folklore of origin. Over centuries, hell, even millennia, the word kobold or one of its thousands 1,000 unscrutable German variants has been used to refer to basically everything and anything. Hell, they're even ship kobolds, and they appear on One Piece. The through line with kobolds in folklore is that they're usually tricksy things that...
Oh yeah, they start with a T. I can't remember what they're called. They got like little tails, and one of them has like a sewing ability.
That live in your house, and they can be helpful, or they can chop up your dad and serve him to you as stew, as Song of Ice and Fire style. It's a broad spectrum. What I'm getting at here is there's so little of the German kobold in the D&D kobold. And when I say little, I mean nothing. The closest thing I found is some guy from the end of the 19th century, like this guy died in the 50s, so this isn't ancient, saying that etymologically the word kobold comes from the word mine, as does gnome, which I'm sure that kobolds appreciate a lot, and most people studying folklore disagree completely with this. They say it's much more likely that kobold comes from kob, which means house/chamber, so no dice, I guess. Visually, it's even more egregious because German kobolds are just gnomes, like literally red pointed cab little guys. It's just David the gnome. That's what they look like. There's absolutely no connection to dragons, to lizards, to dogs. I already put 2 pins on it. We'll get to it. There are many versions of the kobold in both German folklore and folklores influenced by German folklore. And I looked through them, and to the best of my ability, I could not find one single connection to anything resembling the shape they take in D&D. Not draconic, not lizardy, nothing. Like the best.
Yeah, it's very weird. I don't fully understand how this really happened. I'm pretty sure that the main reason why is just because, like, they wanted an underling for dragons, and the way they originally drew them, like, they were kind of ratty, and then people were like, oh, they kind of look like dragons, so we kind of like them as dragons, and then they just kind of ran with it. I don't know.
I can come up with, and this is a stretch based on nothing but me trying to find a connection, is that kobolds serve dragons, so kind of household servants to dragons, like if you squint. But again, kobolds are famous for being tricksy and fighty and taking revenge on people in the house that disrespect them, and kobolds certainly don't do that with dragons. A kobold would probably thank a dragon if the dragon stepped on it by mistake. Like I said, very Harry Potter. Very normal and very cool. So it's a shame, right? Such an iconic folkloric figure just taken for just its name, with no connection to it outside of the name itself. Unless we change that. We've looked at the mythology of kobolds both in and out of the game. We've looked at how they play and the different iteration of them through 5th edition. And since we want kobolds to be able to carry a full campaign all by themselves, what if we get kobolds? A new twist. Part 4, the convergent evolution of game design, dungeons, and dogs. Oh god, this is that research bit of the video that involves reading a whole bunch. Oh, and this one is in like 4 different languages. Yeah, whatever. Last video wasn't that long. Human familiar.
Hi.
Okay. Who messed with the channel while I wasn't looking? Who made it so that every video takes 2 days of research now? Why do you guys hate me? I have a Kickstarter to write and draw and plan and everything. So, if you're a weeb, you might have noticed something about kobolds. Kobolds that come from a specific cultural background. No, not Germany. We have already established that those look like David the Gnome, and David the Gnome is like a Spanish kobold. If you've watched enough anime, you might have seen kobolds look nothing like dragons. In fact, you might have seen them resemble dogs, of all things. Kobolds are canine with a surprising consistency in Japanese media. The latest iteration of dog kobold.
Yeah, let's see. I think they popped up in a number of different animes. So, like, obviously, this is one most people will guarantee know. Dungeon Meshi. That's a kobold there. That the black puppy dude. He's a kobold. In was it? I think Overlord and also Tensi or Reincarnated as a Slime. Those ones also had what's it called? Those ones also had kobolds who were very dog-like pop up. So, once again,
hailing from Japanese pop culture is Kuro from Delicious in Dungeon. And Kuro
Best boy.
is a pretty emblematic example of a process that I very pedantically like to call convergent evolution of game design. Really gunning for that ludonarrative dissonance gold trophy of being annoying when talking about games here. Not only is Kuro not a dragon or a lizard or a dragon, lizard, angel, vampire hybrid, he is simply an anthropomorphic dog. And he is also large, like human size, tall man size, I guess. Honestly, the only thing that Kuro has in common with our D&D understanding of kobolds is his internship. Yep, they kept that. At least in this one, he doesn't like being an intern.
You wouldn't want that. You like working for me, right, Kuro?
Rick feeds me. He's the best boss I could ask for.
That's not an internship, I think.
I bet he's working the poor thing to the bone for peanuts.
You shouldn't say things like that just based on speculation.
What would JK say? So, if you feel like I'm cherry picking with this dog,
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I think it's not that bad in that situation. It is kind of a feudal situation. At least they're feeding him well.
kobold thing, get ready. I am absolutely not. Here is the Shin Megami Tensei incarnation of kobolds. Notice that they also come in very human-sized proportions. Dungeons that surely slaughter adventures. Yes, that is the title. That one, for a super recent example, has pug kobolds. Suikoden, the quintessential example
I kind of love him.
of big in Japan and nowhere else, has like 700 of these dog kobolds and they all slap. Look at these designs. They're sick. I love them. And for the polar opposite of things I want to show on my channel, there's this, because of course there is. Okay, so this dog kobold thing is probably news to a lot of you who aren't weebs, but to the weebs in the audience, I have a twist for you. What if I tell you that this isn't even a Japan-only thing? EverQuest, the granddad of all MMORPGs, another game inspired by a game inspired by Dungeons & Dragons, had dog kobolds. EverQuest is still going. It's been still going while you weren't looking. All the way since 1999. Probably.
Damn, that's kind of impressive. Also, damn, Kobold Champion's a beast.
Older than a decent chunk of you. EverQuest
He looks so dumb. He's got like the divergent eyes going on.
is getting expansions regularly. December of 2025 regularly. Wait, what was that?
James.
Whatever that is, that's my gender. That's my mole guy. So the question is obvious. Why? Why are there just as many dragons as there are dogs in this kobold soup? Is it perhaps because both dragon and dog begin with a D? Perchance.
Just say
Well, as I said, apparently all my videos require impossible levels of way back machining, so let me tell you what happened and how we got here. Listen closely, because I'm about to weave you a tale of mistranslation, inadequate flavor text, adaptation over original sources, video games, and the 80s.
That's...
Why do I do this?
Oh, this is going to be... Guys, we still have like 15 minutes left of this video. Oh my goodness. This is going to be chaos.
Why do I do this? No one else does this. Why do I do this? Do people even care? Do you guys care? Like and subscribe if you care. Like and subscribe if you cry every 10. Okay.
I care.
Because we're about to look at peak art. This is the first incarnation of the kobold. One of the first pieces of art of it. Take it in, breathe out, groundbreaking. I know. This is the look with which kobolds were first introduced to the D&D audience.
Looks kind of like a Durgan to me, but he got like a puppo snout.
Now, you might notice something. Two things, actually. First off, scales.
Yep.
Yes, but also
Scales.
a decidedly squarish muzzle and, what is that? A dog snout. Now, you might be thinking, this isn't nearly enough to jump from dragon to dog. What are you talking about? And no, it wouldn't be if it was only this. This is the flavor text that accompanied the first introduction of the kobold to D&D.
Type of human. Find number of appearances. Okay. Kobold. Okay.
Kobold to D&D, and I quote, "These small, evil, dog-like men usually live underground." The text goes on to describe them as hairless and scaled, but dog-like is the very first thing said about them. Well, that and evil. And small. Ooh. This text comes from the D&D basic box rule set, part of BECME, the Becky. We're not gonna get into that. Stacy's only for this video. This is, for all intents and purposes, the very first D&D book. In subsequent books, much was made about kobolds yapping, which, you know, is not exactly a lizard or a dragon thing, to my knowledge, and the rest is history. So, now we know that kobolds were much more chimera-esque in their first incarnation, much more than baby's first dragon persona, which is what we have right now in 5e, as years went on, more and more of the dog side of Kobolds was lost. But even in 5e, you can still see remnants.
Yeah, like they've always got the dog snout. And they always kind of have like more of a mammalian build in a way. Like you can definitely see that there's like lizard and dragon aspects to him with like the mouth and the horns and all that, but everything is very like mammalian in a lot of ways.
Of what once was. That's a dog nose.
It's a very dog nose. Hold on 1 second, everybody. Okay, I'm back.
Trace of the true self exists in the false self. The chicken nugget post is foreshadowing? Okay, now we know how stuff like EverQuest, a game made in the West, ended up going for dog kobolds when the game was made. But how and why did that convergent evolution happen over in Japan?
I think it might be Pavlov training for their loyalty to be why they worship dragons. Maybe. Hi, Phoenix.
Japan just randomly fixated on the dog bit while the West fixated on the dragon bit? No. Actually, Japan got the basic set, but it got a different version of it. Masaki Yanagita writes for Tokyo Dev in his article, The Rise and Fall of D&D in Japan, that the basic rule set of D&D arrived to Japan in 1985. And like I covered in my Oozes video, it did so after Wizardry, the game inspired by D&D. The basic rule set looked like this in Japan. Ooh. Yes, it looks sick. As you can see,
I kind of dig it. I really like this. It's like very old anime sort of stuff. Kind of makes me think of Shining Force a little bit.
It got a massive art overhaul to appeal to a Japanese demographic. So yes, it looks amazing, but this much of a change in art style also kind of means that changes in text are very possible. We don't know what kobolds are described at in these texts, and tried as I might, I could not find like a comprehensive scan of this online. And for those saying, get the book secondhand, I live on an island in the middle of the Atlantic. Amazon doesn't deliver here most of the time. Getting those books just for this video would be a tremendous undertaking for me to do.
So I did it. He did it. They're so small.
I should not be smiling. This is a bad idea. Look at that.
It's a tax write-off. It's all good.
This is the Dungeon Master's Guide. Look, she's a girl. That's cool. In the 80s? Insane. This is the Monster Manual. Focus on me. Through the power of editing, I can just show you later. We have the technology. I also got the Delicious in Dungeon art book, but I got this as a gift, which is good. Because more kobolds. Yep, I got these for research. Listen, I like learning languages. I'm learning Japanese right now. This is a very sound and
no. And once again, it's for this video. It's tax write-off. It's fine. It's fine.
And they were actually extremely useful for this video. I could not find this information. Some might say, I bought them ages ago, not for this video. This wasn't even a tax write-off. Those people would be right. Some other people might say that I don't have closets in my new apartment and my building people refuse to up my voltage from 1,500. So that means that I cannot heat water for showering. Those people are me, but I got the Japanese basic box set from the 80s.
Hell yeah, brother.
So, silver linings. Like and subscribe.
Please
Honestly,
do.
They were not really.
Honestly, Pointy Hat makes some really good shit. And also gives out so much free D&D based like items like classes, races, monsters, all these sorts of things. And they're all really good. They're all very fun.
That expensive. I think that people were just not looking for them. And I suspect that after talking about them here, they might become more expensive. So good thing I got them like years ago. Anyway, I have to justify this purchase somehow, so I will. So let's check our monster manual. First of all, there is a
How was I not subscribed? The fuck? Oh, right. New account.
illustration of a kobold, but it is right literally in the middle of 2 pages, and I'm not gonna break this to check what it looks like, but it's certainly brown.
What?
So I found the kobold entry in the monster manual, page 129, and if you cannot tell by the big smile on my face, I can say that it is the same text, down to
Really?
it referencing dogs. See, that is the kanji for dog. No, you're not. As in akin to a dog, dog-like.
Huh.
It's in here. It was here from the beginning. Checkmate. this was worth it. Research on
Trying to get a tax write-off for fun things is fun. Yeah. Scary, but fun.
important stuff. You know, some people research like illnesses, and I do this for a talking hat. And speaking of,
Yeah.
but pointy hat, I hear you say.
Hey, don't worry. I'm a talking slime. I understand your... Also, if you hear skittering in the background, I have a puppy, my own little kobold, who's chasing her tail. And she's having the greatest of times.
Hey, as you rudely address my master Anami, you said yourself in your slime video that D&D itself did not catch up that much in Japan. Why would all kobolds change if D&D, the books themselves, didn't do that great compared to others?
She's having the greatest of times. My own little kobold, everybody. You having fun, Minzy?
Stuff? Well, because it wasn't just the book. As I said in my Ooze video, wizardry did more of a number in Japan than D&D ever did. Guess what? Wizardry was also re-illustrated for Japanese audiences. Jun Suemi did the monster redesigns along with a bunch of other illustrations.
Oh, I love these designs. The Gaze Hound? Ooh. Wait, that's a basilisk. Wait, what? The basilisk.
For wizardry, and this is what kobolds actually ended up looking like. Fully dog-like, not even a hint of dragon.
Yeah.
Draconic kobolds are not referenced in the text or the art of anything. Checkmate! This was a good use of my time. So wizardry is once again to blame, but it is not the only thing to blame. You thought this was the only rabbit hole I would take you down on? Think again. So, jump in with me. Choo-choo. You don't say choo-choo when you jump in a hole. Have you heard of Record
Choo-choo,
of
motherfucker!
Lodos War? I would say that Record of Lodos War is the piece of media outside of wizardry that has had the biggest impact as
I love these art styles in anime so much. Look at the size of her shoulder pads. Those don't even make any sense.
to Japan's relationship with D&D. Some might argue, I might argue, that Record of Lodos War is actually the very first actual play in history. I mean, I haven't done a video on the history of actual plays. I'm sure that might be wrong. I mean, that is just a guess. I haven't done research on that. Don't make me. But I'm pretty confident in saying that it's at the very least one of the first D&D actual plays. Actual plays were called replays in Japan, and if I got into replays, this video would be 7 hours long. And I can't do that to myself again. But all you need to know for the purposes of this video, one day I'll end up making that Japan and D&D video. One day. All you need to know for now is that this is a series of novels that were based on a D&D campaign. Those replays, those actual plays, became novelizations, novels, and those novelizations became an actual animated TV show. Before there was ever a Legends of Vox Machina, a Mighty Nine, there was Lodos War. When you start looking into it, it is frankly insane how closely they mirror each other. All of that, all of those parallels with like 40 years of difference. Lodos War became an anime, that anime became video games, questionable figures, movies, and most importantly, a massive cultural touchstone as to what D&D looks like for a Japanese audience.
I just took a moment and I wrote that down on my notepad. I'm going to check that anime out later.
And in Record of Lodos War, these are kobolds. This is so fun to me. I feel like an archaeologist.
That's so good.
If we look at wizardry, then we look at the Japanese version of the basic box set, and finally we look at Lodos War. We can pinpoint the big steps on that convergent evolution journey that we've been talking about. We can even tell why so many of these are the sizes of humans and not just tiny little dog guys, which might be cuter. Look at those Lodos big boys. That's when it happened. Kobolds were given artwork that was a chimera between dog and lizard, but flavor text that was more about their dog-like qualities. That art and that flavor text was interpreted differently by different people, especially in Japan, who got a complete overhaul of the artwork, both for wizardry and for their core books. And now, today, we find ourselves with two massively different interpretations for the same D&D monster, but not in-game. It's a shame all this...
Hello, Hat. Welcome back. Man, I'm loving this, and there is one thing I can point out, and that's we have gnolls, right? But gnolls never actually make it as player races, almost ever, for one. And two, they hold, like, their own niche. Like, they are pretty well unique in their own right. They're like a demon-worshipping monstrous race of hyena people that reproduced via dark magic. Like, they are their own thing. They're not overlapping with anything. Whereas kobolds kind of overlap with a lot of things. I think if we took away the dragon bit, it might give them a little bit more to really stand on, because we already have plenty of things that can work with dragons. Lizard folk, troglodytes, we got friggin' drakes and other dragons, and, you know, just cultists in general. We don't need little house elves.
Rich anthropology does not translate into actually playable things at the table unless we made it happen ourselves. I'll take it from here. Part 5. Say no to dragon males. Let's adopt a kobold. So, let's roll call to see what we're working
No to dragon males, let's adopt a kobold. That's amazing.
with. We do not know where kobolds come from. That is still a mystery. We know that kobolds are dragon-like humanoids locked in a forever internship to dragons. We know they're very communal. We know that their name comes from a Germanic household fairy that is said to be helpful around the home, but also play tricks. And we know that they initially were a sort of dragon-dog chimera before diverging in their evolution, with most interpretations coming from Japan resembling dogs and Western interpretations resembling dragons. Okay, what
Oh, that was a good anime. Oh, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was like Campfire Cooking in Another World or something like that.
do we use from that massive list for our very own kobold? Well, how about everything? You know how much I like to tie my homebrew and concepts that I make up to existing D&D lore, especially forgotten D&D lore. But I also like using actual mythology. And isn't it just a shame that kobolds only take their name from mythology without any of its meaning? I have also been very subtle about this, so you might not have noticed, but I do so hate the fact that kobolds just love being an intern to dragons. I think that sucks a whole lot. So, what if there was a reason for that? Like an actually good reason. And since I'm using old D&D lore to ground
It's respect. It's literally respect from fear, usually.
my interpretation of kobolds, what if we literally use the convergent evolution that happened organically outside of the game in this new kobold? What if we explained what happened to kobolds above table at the table? What if we came up for an origin to kobolds? Let's go. Hey, by the way, I'm bad at drawing furries. Do not be mean. I'm trying my best. What if they come from the Feywild to make the goblin parallel
Oh my god, that's so cute! Oh my god, this is just a sketch, but it's so cute!
even more obvious? Maybe they're distant cousins to Herringon, another animal species in D&D. Imagine kobolds starting as household fae, like their namesake, sea leaf fae that make deals to live in homes of much more powerful creatures, and in exchange for their services, they get to stay in those powerful beings' homes and earn their respect. That's why
You are not allowed to say you're bad at drawing furries ever again. These are absolutely cracked.
they are dogs. They started as Feywild dogs, maybe even related to Blink dogs, and also similar to Herringon. And they're dogs because they're slotted as best friend to much more powerful creatures that they assist
Bad at drawing furries, press X to doubt. Agreed.
and share a living space with, just like humans and dogs. They thrive in community and are loyal to a fault, which is also very kobold. And you know who loves being served, but also being worshipped? You know who believes themselves to be literally
Organs.
above everything and everyone?
Oh wait, no, humans.
One who sees other species as lesser and demands their adulation? Dragons. The evil ones, at least. Dragons took the kobolds from their ancestral home in the Feywild, like the goblin god took the goblins, and they preyed on their instincts as a household fae, twisting that symbiotic relationship into one of worship, abuse, and the worst possible crime, internship. But to keep them from rebelling like basically everyone else that dragons tried this on, because they tried this a bunch of times, the dragons imbued the kobolds with their own draconic essence, twisting not just their social and household instincts, but their nature. The dragons
Oh, I like this idea. Cause yeah, this is exactly what they did with Dragonborns too.
told the kobolds to generation after generation of kobolds born in servitude that they were kin with dragons, that they were the only blood of the dragon. And all the while, the dragons injected the kobolds with their own draconic essence, twisting them into mirrors of their draconic selves. And with time, the kobolds believed them. Think about it. They are communal, they are loyal, they're household spirits. Despite all this meddling, the kobolds would not betray their own, and so the dragons positioned themselves as one of their own, both culturally and biologically. That's why there are kobold draconic sorcerers. That's why dragon-wrought kobolds are a thing. All of those are remnants of the tampering of dragons. That's why they started with scaly skin, but still dog-like, and now they don't look like that anymore. That was them slowly losing
I love this. This is such a good idea.
their original dog appearance. And so
Oh my
today,
God.
we find kobolds as we know them, happy to serve the ones that kidnap them, oblivious to the crimes committed against them. But
I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to plop that over into this universe here that I'm going to make. This is going in my universe pile. This is just going to be canon in my D&Ds.
There are whispers among the kobold. Whispers of small humanoids that come from mushroom-wreathed portals that open deep in the Underdark. Their snouts are wider, their skin is furry and not scaled, their pupils are rounded, and yet they both share the same snout. Kobolds call them Dogolds, and they say that they are tempters that
Doggles!
come into their camps to cloud their minds and lead them astray and away from the dragon gods they serve. Could these Dogolds be the dogs of old?
I love it.
Okay, fine. That might be the worst spot I have come up with yet, but whatever. I love it. Imagine
I agree. No, you cooked.
little dog eyes, and since it's the Feywild, imagine if like they were tied to the seasons, and each season was a different breed of dog, and those were their ancestries or something. I don't know. I like dogs a concerning amount. Team dog for life. So maybe
Same. I love Papos.
I'm biased. Okay, scratch that. I am definitely biased. But
100%.
finally, a dog species in D&D, and they're connected to the lore, and they answer every single point we've talked about when discussing kobolds. In terms of abilities, maybe they
That is the most snarky bitch-ass dragon I've ever seen, and I love him.
have the whole helping thing going on since they're household spirits as like a response to pack tactics. The mining thing kobolds do is more digging centric here because they are dogs. I'm a genius. Or maybe not. I just have so many ideas as to how they could work, and it's good that I do because the Dogold, the original kobold, is in the description of this very video for how much? Oh, 100% certified pointy hat free, of course. Just like those Heliana and Ryoko dice sets, remember, once again, check the campaign in the very first link in the description to grab them before they're gone forever. Bye-bye. And you know what else is free? Again, ×2? Well, the Paladin Oath I just released for my upcoming project, Wildheart. That one is sent through my brand new mailing list. Yes, only free content, no spam, and you're gonna want to be subscribed because massive things are gonna come through it, like very soon, like in 2 weeks. If you want to find out more about that, how about this massive video on Paladins? I explain it there.
It's already happened, by the way.
And there sure is another free goodie for you to grab. All right, gotta go. I have a very monstrous week to plan. See ya.
Yeah, guys, that was Pointy Hat. That's the Doggolds and the Kobolds. Guys, I fucking love it. I absolutely love it. So good. Anyway, I know what I'm doing with my Kobold stuff. Anyway, goodbye. What? Hey, did you enjoy that? Was it funny? Well, come and check it out live over on twitch.tv/freeform_art. Make sure you put the _art. We have lots of fun there. We enjoy ourselves, and we want to see you over there. So come on and hang out. See you in a bit.